All right, let's call to order the work session for the Board of Supervisors. We're meeting in Supervisors Hearing Room on Melody Lane. Pursuant to ARS 38431.02H, public will have access to the meeting room 15 minutes prior to the start of the meeting. Any item on this agenda is open for discussion. Members of the Cochise County Board of Supervisors will attend in person or via Microsoft Teams. Members of the public may also attend via Microsoft Teams or the mobile app. Work sessions are a time for county staff to inform and discuss agenda items with the Board of Supervisors, and public comment will not be taken. We'll start out with a roll call. District 1, sure. District 2,
Gomez is here.
District 3, Antonori's here. All supervisors present or in person. Let's go to Joe Casey and pick this one up. So, Mr. Casey.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about IT today.
IT.
And so we've got a lot of things that the IT department covers. Let me introduce the team here. So Alan Gordon, he's the Chief Technology Officer and the IT Director. He's been running the department over the past year as I've been helping out in county administration. And then David is the Project Manager, and he's stepped up as helping out in budget management over the past few months as well to help us get ready for this. And really good at details and really been very helpful moving forward with this. So let Alan go ahead and give you a rundown. And
Sure. So, like I said, my name is Alan Gordon. I've been the interim IT director now for the past year. So today we're here on behalf of the IT department. We want to present our financial year 25-26 budget request to answer any questions that you may have about it. There's a little background on us. So we're the team that's responsible for maintaining the county's technology infrastructure. We support more than 25 departments and elected offices, managing over 2,000 computers, mobile devices, radios, and the key network systems that keep operations connected across Cochise County. We also maintain 30 communication tower sites to ensure continuous service for public safety, dispatch, and emergency response. Every day, our team works behind the scenes to support the people who keep Cochise County running. We support employees in the field, maintaining infrastructure, providing public safety, and delivering vital services throughout the county. Our technology powers the work of every department, helping operations stay connected, reliable, and responsive to the citizens that we serve. We maintain critical technology for all the 25 departments and elected offices, keep emergency operations running for county emergency services, CCOM dispatch, and the sheriff's office. We also support external public safety agencies like the Fire District and the Tombstone Marshal's Office through intergovernmental agreements. And these IGAs not only extend our services to our partners, but they also bolster county revenue and helping offset some of our operational costs. Our work ensures that essential services stay online, connected, and available to the public around the clock. As we continue to maintain and protect the county's critical technology infrastructure, one thing that we're dealing with is we're doing an environment where the cost of doing business in IT has risen sharply. Inflation, global supply chain challenges, and higher manufacturing costs have all driven up the price of hardware, software licensing, cybersecurity protections, and vendor services. Despite these pressures, though, our IT team has stayed focused on stretching taxpayer dollars as far as possible. We've extended the life of our equipment beyond industry standards. We've paired devices in-house to avoid costly outside service contracts, and we've done a good job negotiating smarter, long-term purchasing agreements to lock in lower rates. This year's budget request is about continuing the careful stewardship, maintaining stability, upgrading aging systems before county risks grow, and protecting the county's ability to deliver secure and reliable services every day.
How long did it take you to write that bit?
We're done for a little bit.
Yeah, I got to hand it to you. That's pretty good. It was good. So you have your own geek squad.
Effectively, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, that's cool. Did you ever figure out how much that saves by having your own geek squad versus going on?
not as a whole, but individual pieces. So for instance, like our network engineering side, we did outsource that for a while, and we brought that bit back in. And we did it each piece by piece, saying, okay, is this worth outsourcing, is this worth bringing in? And we do that on a regular basis. As we have turnover, we take a look and see, do we want to outsource this? Will we get better support, better service, or is it better to have it in-house? To be able to have send somebody up to the towers. Sometimes it's nice to have somebody in-house because any time, middle of the night, we get calls to go up and fix.
Yeah, so do you have guys on call?
Effectively, yeah.
So you have like a duty list that rotates with guys that are on like, this week is your week to get your rocked out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning, throw the breaker on the server when the breaker trips or whatever.
It's not quite a full on-call, but there's a specific jobs that they're essentially on call all the time. But we don't have a help desk on call.
Oh, okay.
So like if somebody calls, my computer's messing up, we don't have an on-call for that, with the exception of.
You gotta wait till 8 in the morning.
Correct.
So what has been your biggest savings by doing it in-house, you know?
The biggest savings, probably cybersecurity.
Really? Now, is that all the things that we're supposed to be doing also? I know, I
That's a
started.
small aspect of it, yeah.
That's changing the culture of the workforce to keep security in mind, because when it comes down to it, humans are our biggest link, our biggest weakness.
Have you been
in
doing
cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How many employees over there?
It's a total of 25 when we're fully staffed.
And that's what's under the $2 million in salaries, 25
Correct.
25 guys.
Tatiana was very helpful yesterday.
Good.
Specific.
Excellent.
Excellent staff.
It was named for sure.
Yeah, we have an amazing team. Everyone on the IT team is just, really passionate.
And I like that you have someone like in Douglas area. That's very.
That's right. We try to make sure that we can provide quick coverage to the whole county, which is the challenge. It's so big.
So with the tariffs kicking in now on the electronics and what, do you have any predictive idea of what you're looking at?
So, yes and no. We've been getting some messages from some of our vendors like Dell and Panasonic saying, hey, price increases are coming, get your orders in now. They haven't really told us what those price increases are.
I don't think they know what their prices are.
Exactly.
They're going to
know
be,
what they're dealing
yeah.
with.
So I mean, well, and it's fluctuating, right? So I mean, it went from a 50% tariff to 100% tariff to 150. Now it's 150, right?
Like 250 and then now 150. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's.
The technology is excluded from some of those tariffs as well, so.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They did that. And then now they're also, I see they're moving a lot of stuff to Taiwan and Vietnam and to avoid China.
Yeah.
Which they already started to do, some stuff in the right time there. So, what we're doing is we try to place a lot of our orders in bulk anyway because we can negotiate better deals. So we'll buy 200 laptops at a time and we can get a better price from Dell. So we're placing those orders now. We're going to get stuff in before it becomes a concern. And then, like I mentioned too, we've been working to lock in contracts and pricing on stuff now. So we don't have to worry about it.
So you're operating leases and rentals. That's just like a Xerox machine. Copier machine.
The 428,000.
Yeah, that's the million.
No, that's our software.
Oh, that's
So
software.
it's primarily the software that's used throughout the county on enterprise-wide. There are some departments have software in their budget itself, but that's for a department-specific software. So for instance, the assessor, they have software that only assessor uses, so they purchase that. Yeah, like your Office 365. And we have a full list here of what that all includes. We've got a copy of it if you'd like to see that. And what this does, this is actually one of the challenges that we have for managing the budget is each year, software is going up.
Oh.
So what we've done is when we can do a multi-year agreement. So for instance, we just purchased Darktrace for 3 years. So we're good for the next 3 years on that. So our budget, we keep it lower. We had a little extra money this year to cover that cost. And the vendors will give us a better deal if we buy multiple year agreements as well.
Yeah.
So they give us
You have a
that discount.
DocuSign.
How do you determine whether people need software or not?
It's the need for it would be, efficiency. So for instance, you talk about DocuSign or Adobe. We went to Adobe, was it this last year, last couple of years, just because of experience of saying, okay, I've spent, 2 hours on, doing this document. If I have Adobe Pro, it would take me, 30 seconds and I could have converted the document.
Do you have a software that monitors the software?
No.
All right. So the greeting card company that I work for has a software, and if you are loading software on your computer, and of course you pay the license every time you download that, it automatically calculates the license through the system.
Yeah.
And after a certain amount of time, if you don't access that software, you get a little email and it says that we're going to delete the software because you're clearly not using it, and that license will revert back for somebody else to do that. Do we have anything like that?
Somewhat, not quite to that level, but
Oh,
manage,
Yeah.
in ways.
because there is always that guy. There's always that guy that has to have every program in the library downloaded on his computer just because he's that guy.
Yeah, might need it one day.
Right? I gotta have it. And then he never uses never
But you don't
uses,
want app envy.
he's got app. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they never use the software, and then we're paying the license for that software. So there's got to be some.
But do we monitor that in some fashion?
Yeah, so we don't have any fancy software like your greeting card company.
Yeah.
But we do, take time, we look at, you can pull usage reports off of like Office 365, which is one of our really big expenses. So we're constantly looking at that, adjusting the amount of licenses that we have.
You break out Office 365 by PowerPoint and Excel.
Yeah.
It's just you don't. It's
You
just
don't. You buy
you buy the whole package.
you buy different levels. So
Right.
you can buy, most people are on what's called the G3 package, which is kind of like, you get everything. You got, the installed version. of the app.
PowerPoint, Word,
Yeah,
Excel. all
and you have tons of storage with it. And then we have, lower plans like the G1 plan, and that's for somebody who may not need the desktop version, but they still need some storage space. And then we even have a lower plan, which is the frontline worker plan. And that starts to, curtail it back even more. You get less features.
But
less storage.
it's specialized software, for example, like Adobe, right? So for Adobe, and then there's Microsoft Project, and there's all these different add-ons, right? How do you control that?
So we manage those individually. So the Adobe portal, we have folks that go in there, take a look and take a look at the license use on those.
Yep.
And then with the.
But you do it manually. So you got a guy
Yeah.
or gal
Yeah.
that says, okay, these people have downloaded this software. I'm going to double check to see if they're really using it or.
Exactly.
Correct.
Okay.
And so AI, right? Is that, sometimes use it.
So we are starting to purchase license. We have a few licenses that we purchased that we're distributing to certain people that need it now, but we're slow rolling that.
Okay.
We're looking at training right now to send out to everybody to make sure that people are trained on AI before we start pushing these licenses out to
Yeah.
what to upload, what not to upload.
Okay.
And just we're going through the overall the IAAA project to make sure that our data is in place so we can start taking advantage of AI a little bit better.
So Chat GPT is the one that.
That's
Okay.
what we're testing out right now.
Okay.
We're also discussing Copilot, which is Microsoft, which makes more sense because we're already a Microsoft shop.
Mm.
But we're looking at that option right now.
We don't want people just uploading county documents for AI.
Right.
Community training.
I'm looking at this is insane how it was software.
I know, it's a lot. You don't feel like any password protection.
Some of these licenses are also nuts.
Yeah, so very expensive. Some of it is for multiple years, that we're paying. But yeah, some of it's very, very expensive. And Office 365 is a very significant expense.
Well,
But
everybody's on that, but I'm getting at, what was this one I was looking at right here? Dark Trace Maintenance Renewal 365, 360K.
So that's with a 3-year purchase, and that's our cybersecurity.
So it's 120K a year?
Correct. And so what that does is that actually monitors all the traffic that's going in and out of our network, and it looks for something that's changed. So all of a sudden, this person has never visited this website before, and then now they visit this website.
Yeah.
It'll give us an alarm saying, "Hey, look what this person's doing," or they download a bunch of data, or they, it does a lot of AI stuff to make sure it's monitoring everything that's going on throughout the network.
So where's the number of licenses that we have? Like, so for example, this Freshworks IT ticketing system, right? 3-year annual payment, 39K. How many licenses is that for?
I'd have to get that for you. So that's probably somewhere around 20-ish licenses because the only licensed people on that are the agents who are actually working it. So, any IT who needs to log in.
You shouldn't have given me the sheet, dude.
Too much information.
No. Because now it's making me ask questions, right? I probably wouldn't have looked at it this way, right? So the amounts for like Azure, right? 70K for a 1-year license. How many people are?
So Azure, what that is, that's actually our service, our cloud provider for some of our servers that we have So if there's a citizen that's getting access to it, they get access through Azure rather than tying directly into our servers on the back end. That's our middle point. It gives us security and also allows them to connect from outside of our county network. And so, for instance, GIS, if you connect to GIS, you're going to be connected in through Azure. And there's a few other things, but that's virtual servers that we're paying.
All right. So that's, you're just paying somebody's cloud.
Correct.
Yeah. And I'm trying to,
I got a question, Joe.
Yes.
Where is and how do I get access to all the Board of Supervisors resolutions? I asked you about that a few days ago.
So on base,
On base is where they're at.
On base.
Correct.
Where is base?
That's on our portal. That's on the website.
What's
On base.
we can put a link to it. It's publicaccess.coachee.edu.gov/public. And that's the public portal. There's also the back end of it too. There's, stuff that is available publicly that you need to search for.
if you go to, from our website under business, there's resources. I think it's a tab, it's a menu item, resources. And under that is public documents. With the links.
And then you just put right resolutions,
Use wildcard star,
all star.
the resolution, and then star, and it'll bring you all resolution. Everything that has resolution in the title.
Okay.
And that's part of the IAAA project as well, because if they weren't labeled appropriately years ago when they were put in the system, then it won't pull it up.
Okay, so put a star, like if I want to use,
And there's on that homepage for the public document search, there's text that explains how to do a search. So if you don't remember, just read that page and it'll explain the tricks of doing a search.
Let's make it not tricky, so I can just go, show me all the resolutions.
That's
That's a project. It'll be a year or two before we could really get that point.
And the clerk of the boards as well, working to, when they put documents in, and they've done a lot of cleanup, Melissa in particular has done a lot of cleanup of on base to put things in an appropriate title. Because back
I understand.
decades ago, somebody put in 71-5, and that was,
what's that?
what's the file size limit for emails for, is it like
25.
25?
Yeah.
Do we have an FTP capability? We do?
We do.
Do you pay for that?
Yes.
Yeah, there's a license. It's self-hosted. It is on here.
It's Cerberus FTP.
Yeah.
What is it?
Cerberus?
Cerberus. Ooh,
It's like the
dog that guards the gates of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's that?
It's the fifth or sixth one down.
On the front?
On the front, yeah.
How did I miss that? Oh, yeah, there it is, FTP. Oh, and it's not bad.
So we don't have,
Funny, you know.
our emails, on our email, we don't have to worry about storage like I do on my personal one.
So you pay $300 a year, that's it for that?
We don't use it that much, really. Most of our file share we use with Microsoft, whether it's OneDrive or SharePoint. That's what we primarily use throughout the county.
So, but does it do the security sweep for viruses and macros when it goes through that or not?
Through the FTP?
Yeah.
Yes.
See, that's the beauty of using FTP.
It does with email too.
Oh, the email does too?
Everything gets scanned
Oh, okay.
in and out.
All right. I'm sneaky people. Oh, it's impressive. Shouldn't give me this shit.
Well, we like to operate in a.
Yeah, transparency. Is this available to the public?
It's a public record.
Or is it a sensitive?
Sensitive because it
Okay.
shows a lot of our footprint of what's.
All right,
in our
all right. So
Pretty cool.
I would think it would give somebody an idea where to go to try to find a back door.
No, it's not.
What's that?
this is the description attached to the agenda item.
Yeah, but it gives somebody the back door to sneak in somehow.
Yes.
So how do you break out the IT, like the software between what IT has and say county, the sheriff or the school? They have their own separate account?
So it's dependent on if it's specific for their department.
Okay, then they,
We generally have them pick up that tab.
okay.
If it's multiple departments, we consider that
Where
enterprise.
you get economy of scale.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you do.
But any IT purchase at all goes through IT now. just to make sure, and also cybersecurity, to make sure we know what's going on in our network, make sure
Right.
it's secure.
Mhm.
And make sure that we have, we might have that already and say, oh yeah, here you go, here's the software you need to buy that.
Do you guys have any employees funded by grants?
Yeah.
No, so they're all general fund.
Not of the 25, there are two that kind of fall under IT, but they fall under the sheriff.
Mhm.
So they're actually calling the sheriff's org chart, but they sit in our office and they work with the IT team. There's two of them that do the Sabre grant.
Okay.
Fortinet firewall, that's just a firewall, so when you have like the Roblox Dell, that's an add-on.
So with that's a network firewall
Okay.
for I believe that was for the computer solutions.
The board answer for the state.
Fleet charges, 37K. That doesn't sound like a lot, right? What do you got, one truck?
No, we have three.
Oh, sorry. So we have 6 vehicles, but
How many?
6. But only 3 of them are actually like newer ones on the replacement plan. The rest of them are kind of the hand-me-downs from the sheriffs. So we use those for running around town. Yeah.
So again, Joe, that's gas and maintenance, right? The 31K?
Correct, gas maintenance, and then for the 3 of them, replacement cost
Oh, for replacement costs too.
for those 3.
That's amortized though, right? Or somehow it's just a fee that's added on to
Correct.
go towards replacing the vehicle, if I recall.
Yeah,
That's still not much money.
one of those vehicles is a beefed up 4-wheel drive to get up to the mountaintops.
But it's a 2001. So that's what it is. We try to.
It's a 2001?
Yep.
24-year-old truck.
That's amazing.
And get beat up on up those
Old,
mountains.
it's one of those old Chevys,
Exactly.
Yeah.
lifted.
1500 lifted, yeah.
Yeah.
We got front lockers on it.
It's got what?
Front lockers aftermarket.
Blocks.
Oh, hub locks, yeah.
Mhm.
And the truck's got it too. Big 4-wheel low.
Mhm.
Crawl motor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe it, all that running around, you only got 37 grand. That's pretty good. Let's see if anything else kicking on in here.
They're one of the few departments that actually elected to reduce their budget this year.
You could get a lot of voters for that, yeah.
Well, you should be a victim of your own efficiency. You know, as you improve your digital service and,
Work yourself out of a job.
yeah, you should be reducing the number of personnel by replacing them with automation, right?
No. And we have, we're employees, but the other side of that equation is we're also increasing the amount of technology that's being used.
Okay.
So, if you go back, a few years ago, we didn't have, maybe more than a few years ago, we didn't have half of this stuff. So now we keep on adding more, and every department keeps on adding more software, more tech. Now even like the highways department has stuff that is now really high tech, AI-based road scanning.
Yeah, he was
So yeah, the more efficiency we get, the more automation we get, the more work we actually end up creating for ourselves.
And the more that the other departments could actually reduce their.
well, that somebody's got to be
Yeah.
shrinking down, right?
So one of the things that we always tell folks is we're here to support our customers, to support the rest of the county.
Right.
We're not here just to have technology.
Yeah.
We got to make sure they're getting their job done more efficient, quicker. Yeah. The other thing on the budget here that we didn't call out specifically is the 450 fund. So we have the 100, which is the general fund, and the 450 is a half-cent sales tax, which covers the cost for our laptops, our servers, any new upgraded equipment.
Half-cent sales tax.
They get a portion of the county.
Oh, that comes out of the general fund from the sales tax.
It doesn't, it's not, it's a relative.
We apportion it directly to this fund. So when we get our TPT, we split it between several different funds.
Out of the half cent,
Yeah.
the regular half cent.
Yes. TPT.
They get it
They get a
sliver.
portion. They get
Correct.
When was that half passed?
Oh, gosh.
About 19.
I have the resolution.
Every county,
No, just about.
every county's. got
Every
it.
county has
got a half cent.
It was county.
So I didn't know we broke it up though.
Yeah, so we get about 500,000 a year that gets added to it, and then carries over from previous years for replacing the computers, monitors, servers, MDCs for the sheriff's office, radios, things like that.
No.
other beneficiaries of HUSN are like solid waste.
It's split between general fund, solid waste, IT capital, building enhancement, and our
So
regular.
if I asked you for a department total, because what I'm hearing, and this, I talked about this before, there's a lot of bleed over to try to determine what something costs because they're getting their money. So like we just said, like the sheriff's department gets radios from the IT guys, and that's coming out of this fund, right? And then you have all these other flood district get money for this, and it just seems like we have a lot of overlap that I can't. Is there a way that you could say, if I just, for example, I want to see the flood district, right? And I want to see every dime that comes to the flood district, even if it's, some deal with IT or some deal with, is there a way that you could see what their total technical cost is?
Yeah, I mean, it would take us a while to go through and do that kind of analysis, but I think the way our budget is laid out and the way our ERP is laid out, we could do that.
I mean, the most complicated would probably be the sheriff's department. 'Cause
Yes.
their fingers are everywhere,
Yeah.
right? So you got CCOM, you got grants, you got IT, you got HR, you got all these different little areas that they're getting lift budget-wise.
It could be used for BLM.
Charity, it's got a charity.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but what is the total cost to run? That's
To run a department, like, say, are you talking about the overhead costs as well?
Everything.
What we consider overhead. Of,
right. What do they cost them? But because
So
we're
you talk PSPR.
because we're offloading,
Yeah.
because we're offloading,
Yeah.
we're offloading on other entities, like
Residential.
you're throwing me off, Don.
I know.
So like you just said, the radios, right? The sheriff's department, they get radios from this fund, right? So I'm just trying to figure out where, there's money coming in, where they're getting lift, and then we're spending money in the department itself for.
So
Right, there's always an ancillary cost somewhere.
correct. So when I said radio, we haven't bought radios for the sheriff in a while. They've got a lot of.
No, I get. I'm just trying to.
Right, yeah, they have grant. These haven't been. This money hasn't been used.
Not for the radios.
Because sometimes what you guys tell me is there's budget there, and then you use that budget to go get that service. But then there's times when you tell me there's a service that gets budget that gives something back. That's what I'm trying to. You get what I'm saying?
Are you saying, like, for example, IT gives,
Like HR, right? 'Cause
we charge the department for a certain overhead cost for our IT services. Is that what you're referring to?
right.
And then
But it doesn't show up on that other.
it
That
goes
other-
into the general fund,
Mm-hmm.
big pot, and then we divvy it out through various.
No, I got it.
We don't-
Yeah, no, I think the tentacles can be traced, like what
Yeah, I gotta
portions
give it
of,
Stacy.
what portions of like the IT budget are covering other portions of somebody else's budget that's not represented in their budget. You want to see things like that, plus what Sharon's talking about.
So we stopped breaking it out years back on as far as charging departments for IT. Because it ended up being a lot more overhead and tracking, because it's all coming out.
Yeah, I
But
get
it
that.
kind of got rid
I
of
get
that
that.
ability to,
I don't want to go
Give it
backwards,
like you
there,
had.
but I can't see, and I'm a visual guy. I'm trying to see, we're, for lack of a term, we got a Venn diagram going on where all these overlaps are going. And I want to know if somebody's gaming the system by taking advantage of all this and claiming, I'm using this for this IT service and this for IT. And they're getting like 3 services, but they're only paying for 1. But they're getting funded for 3. That's what I'm trying to get. I can't see that.
That's
what
the
I-
problem with joint operations agreements.
Yeah, I can't see that because, I mean, there's a way, let's just, for example, during COVID, people were working 3 jobs, but they were only working 8 hours a day. And they were charging these 3 employers, 8 jobs. No one knows, right? Because this guy thinks he's doing this job for him. This guy thinks he's doing this job for him. This guy's doing, but he's doing the same job, basically, but he's working for 3 different guys. How do I know that this department isn't pulling money from here, pulling money from here, and pulling money from here for the same service? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because I keep hearing it, and then when I'm looking at these and not on your budget, but I'm saying that some of the subscriptions and this service and this service and this service, I can't see that
So
breakup.
for IT, the reason why we started to bring everything into IT as much as we can, and every department, when they buy IT, they have to come through us, is to help prevent stuff like that from happening. So they don't buy the same software that we have over here as well.
Yeah.
But is there a check and balance in the budget where now that you know that all this service is being provided by IT, this department should not be charging as part of their general fund to the budget? How do you do
I
that?
think that kind of thing can come out in the one-on-one talks that we have with the department. If we see that there are certain portions of a budget that are no longer being used because it's being covered somewhere,
But how do you know they're no longer using it? That's what I'm getting at.
we would check the system to ensure, has that vendor been paid recently? Has that budget been used?
So for instance, just this year, we pulled long distance off.
Mhm.
And as we were going through the budget, there were some departments that still had long distance in there.
Yeah.
We're like, well, no, you guys don't get charged that anymore. That's all.
Yep.
Clean that.
So then we started cutting it off
Mhm.
out of the budget. That's one example. I understand what you're saying, but I don't think.
Yeah.
anything-
I'm just,
No,
That's an
I
easy-
can't think of an
easy button on
example
it.
that I could latch on to.
I give an example of next door in Santa Cruz County, she's doing 25 years of hard time right now
Oh, absolutely.
because she found those loopholes
Yes.
where she was, taking advantage of those breakouts. So that's why I'm trying to, not saying anybody's doing that. I'm just saying that
I'm trying to think.
when you have a lot of these
Yeah.
overlapping services, there's a way to sometimes game the system where you're basically charging three people for the same thing.
Mhm.
I'm just,
Okay.
I just can't see that. I'm just trying, the way that this is set up, I'm just,
During the last administration, we looked into the payroll system and found out, yeah, there's loopholes in the payroll system where somebody could give themselves a raise. And it went to a new.
or approve their own overtime.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
we changed systems,
Mhm.
right?
We
Or
didn't
we-
change
Change our
process.
process.
Okay.
We changed the process. We didn't change systems for that reason. We are changing the system as a whole because of other challenges, but we did change the processes and put checks and balances in place. So because within the system itself, they had to be able to give themselves a raise, because they had permissions. But if any raises were given, then there's a manual check on the back end to make sure.
I understand. How did that discrepancy come to light? Wasn't there an independent audit?
That was from an auditor.
The
Okay.
Auditor General's audit, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we need to explore reviewing further opportunities like that to find out, okay, here's the danger. Not that we're trying to say, okay,
Right.
this person cheated on something or other, but somebody could cheat on somebody, or therefore we're going to get into this now and try to fix that. That's what I think.
So,
We should explore.
yeah, so this comes back, I think I don't know if I had a discussion with you or with you. One of you two, I think I had a discussion. I know a guy
I know.
that does not forensic audits, but he does. And it's Randy Pullen. It's no secret. Randy Pullen helped set up the system that the current state treasurer uses to track and to see where the money's all going. He set up a system for them. When he was doing that, he was able to develop processes to find sneaky things that certain state agencies were doing to basically milk the system to get extra money. All right, so he found that, and it saved the state a ton of money. And this was back during the budget crisis, 2009, 2010. So he has that experience. So what I was getting at is if maybe we bring him in or another,
Do a request.
another company that has that same capability, because he's in a accounting firm that does audits, right? But I talked to the state, the guy, when you were
Right.
with the same thing,
CSA.
yeah, that does those types of, they're not forensic audits though, but they're very, they're not cursory audits though either.
Right.
It's a review.
Yeah, they look for smoke. They don't find the fire, they just find the smoke. and say, hey, this is smoking, this is smoking, this is smoking. And then you could bring the forensic audit guy in and say, instead of, because forensic audits are very expensive.
Right.
And then you say, well, we found a little bit of smoke here, a little bit of smoke there, a little bit of smoke there.
As we come up on risk management at the next one, Julie can explain, we did a fraud risk review a couple of years ago, and that came up with some of those smoke, not that
Yeah.
there was anything actually
Right, it's just something,
fraudulent happening, but
Right.
just that
Potential.
it had a weakness, if you will. Certain areas of the county that there were weaknesses in our processes that we could improve, and we have. But it's always
The
been-
chair's points are well taken, and we should explore reviewing continuously,
no,
because
I'm just,
even if let's say we find something and we say, okay, look, we did this audit from the Auditor General a couple of years ago. Now we're moving to this thing. At least, hey, we're trying to find people cheating all the
it
time.
may not be people cheating, it just may be inefficiencies, right? It
Well,
just may
you're
be,
looking for them. I mean,
Well,
even if there
yeah.
are none, you hope there are none.
you hope they're none, right? But yeah, you're looking for them.
creates a culture of awareness too among our staff to look for those opportunities.
Yeah, but sometimes the culture awareness from the staff is the problem.
Right.
Like we had next door in Santa Cruz County,
Yeah.
right?
Get that
Okay.
after.
It's a duty to report kind of
Yeah.
awareness of our staff and
Right.
also having a person.
Right, I got you, but I'm just wondering if maybe we should just every year pick one section of the county to just have a curse, not a curse. I forgot what he told me, that guy, what he said that's called, what kind of audit it's called.
Yeah, it's not forensic.
It's not a forensic audit because
That's the-
they drill down and they start looking at receipts and signatures and stuff. But it's just a pattern. They look for patterns. I forgot what it was. Anyways, we need to kind of
Wrap it up.
think
Yeah.
of, oh, we're over time.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for these guys? I think it's very informative. I appreciate it. Nothing else? All right. So the next meeting will be, we're immediately following this on the Board of Supervisors and Risk Management. So with that, we are adjourned.